Welcome everybody. In this tutorial, we're going to talk about placing images. Now in InDesign, the program itself is a frame-based program. And what that means is that everything goes into a box. And so when we're working in either with text or with photos or with graphics, all of these go into a frame. And InDesign automatically does that when you place a graphic onto the page. So let's go ahead and place a file. And there's a couple of ways to place a file as we learned before. You can either go under the drop-down menu, under File and Place, or you can learn to use that Command D, and that'll bring up the dialog box. And let's go ahead and use the trees in the park. And these are free photos that I've gotten from some of the resources that I've used over at Rudy's place. There's a list of different places where you can get graphics and pictures, okay, no problem, for free for your use in your documents. So let's go ahead and take trees in the park, and I'm going to tell it to open. And when we do that, you'll see that we have a little representation of what the photo actually looks like. Now, if we just click on the page, the program will drop the picture in at 100% of its size. And as you can tell, this picture measurement is huge. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and hit Command Z, and that'll take us back to where we were before, which is ready to place the photo in. But instead of placing the photo, just clicking one time, I'm going to click and hold the mouse button down, and I'm going to drag out the picture. And you can see that when I drag the picture, it's in proportion to what its size is, okay? Width and height. So here's our picture. And you'll see that we have little grab handles all the way around the photo itself, okay? And if we go to one of these grab handles, you'll see little arrows that the head changes to these little directional, and these are little crop directional markers to show you which way you can actually drag. So for example, if I want to drag in, I can drag in from the side, and let me hit Command Z to put us back. Or I can go ahead and crop up, or I can crop from both sides, depending on what you want to do with the photo. Now, the nice thing is if you go to one of these grab handles and you click and you hold the button down, you will actually see a little ghosted image of what was there. So you can measure how much you want to crop off. Okay. Let me undo that and do it again from the corner. If you click and you hold first the mouse button, then you start dragging, you'll see the whole picture and what you're going to end up with. That's a very nice function for you to get a little preview of where you were and where you're going. Out on the outside, if you go to this corner, you'll see resize from both directions. But if we go a little outwards, you'll see this double-headed arrow with this rotate function. Okay. And when you do that, it'll actually show you what the angle is before you let it go. If you want to rotate your photo or your graphic, you can use that to do it with. I'm going to undo that. And there's a couple more things on here. Let me go ahead and crop this down a little. There's a couple more things on here that we should be aware of. When you bring your pointer over the graphic, once it's selected, you'll see this little content grabber, and that's that little disc shaped thing there in the middle. And when we mouse over that, you'll notice that it switches to a hand. And with this, you can click and grab and move what's inside that cropped area. So that's for you to go ahead and reposition the photo within that cropped area. And then once you let go, it'll show you your new repositioned photo. There are also some other points on the photo itself, and they're colored, or there's a little graphic on it. And if we hold our pointer over the piece, you'll actually see what it is. And this one here is the option click to open the links panel. So if we hold option and click on that, you'll see what that graphic is, and it opens up the links panel. Okay. Next thing we have is click to edit corners. Now click to edit corners, if we click on it, that allows us to go ahead and change, but we can actually change it from here as well. So say for example we want to go from none to fancy, you know, go ahead and just select it and it'll make this pattern on the corner. Or you can go to bevel where it's beveled instead. We have inset, inverse rounded, and then rounded. Now we can adjust how round that bevel actually is. Same thing with the inset. You can make it as small or as big as you want. Okay, you can adjust that size, no problem. And that's kind of a neat way to dress up a photo. Now the last thing on here is if you go up to that little blue square, and our tooltip will tell us that it's going to drag into text or anchor an object. Okay, and to also make it an inline object. Now that is something that we won't be working with until maybe later on in the tutorials when we get into making a newsletter. So that's that function, but we'll hold off on that. Anyway, that's just some of the ways that you can turn around and use InDesign to crop your photos. In the next video, we'll learn how to creatively crop photos for use in our layouts. I'll see you in the next video.